Madam Speaker, I move that the House expresses its sadness regarding the recent disaster in Lebanon, which resulted in the death of in excess of 178 people, injured at least 6,000 more, and has left an estimated 300,000 people homeless. 2, extends its deepest condolences to the families of those killed and all those lives that have been impacted by this disaster. And 3, extends its support to the people of Lebanon in dealing with the tragic aftermath of this event. Madam Deputy Speaker, on the 4th of August in Lebanon's capital city of Beirut, 2 huge explosions occurred in the port area. This resulted in the death of at least 178 people, injured 6,000 more, and has left hundreds of thousands of people without a roof over their head. I must admit I was shaken and saddened by the news of this destructive explosion and couldn't believe it when I first saw it, as I mentioned to Mr Dad yesterday. We need to remember as well that this unfortunate disaster has occurred against the backdrop of ongoing efforts to contain and manage the coronavirus pandemic both in Lebanon and the wider region. The city's health facilities have been badly damaged, reducing capacity when they need it most. And I hope I pronounce this correctly. Faddy Zouky, the Honorary Consul General for the Republic of Lebanon in Tasmania, recently likened Beirut to Hiroshima. Lebanon is an ancient country and they've been through much, including war and disasters. This disaster comes atop the worst economic crisis in Lebanon's modern history as they too battle the pandemic we've seen touch our own shores. Now they must also manage the political instability that events such as these can bring about. Despite its small size, it has contributed much to global culture. There's a large diaspora throughout the world and close ties with Australia. I'd like to acknowledge the 20,000 Australians living in Lebanon and the tragic loss of a young Australian life. Tasmania and Australia share many close ties to the people of Lebanon. According to the census, there are several hundred Tasmanians with Lebanese heritage, and I'd also like to acknowledge them and their extended families, especially one of our own here in this Parliament. Our best wishes to the member for Clark, Mr Dad, and your extended family, Ella. We wish them well in the face of this ongoing crisis. I'd like to acknowledge the work of the Honorary Consul General for the Republic of Lebanon in Tasmania, who's been working to assist Tasmanian families to contact their families in Lebanon. In his words, and I'll quote, "These are dark days for the country." He also said he would like us to have Lebanon in our prayers. I'll be getting in touch with Mr Zouky personally to thank him for his hard work to help the people of Lebanon. Understand that the Australian Government has now provided $5 million in support, and I know that there are ongoing efforts within Australia to raise further funds. I'd like to echo the calls of Mr Zouky and the member for Clark's recent comments that for those who can, support can be given to charities such as the Lebanese Red Cross. We have, of course, experienced our own disasters and recent bushfires and floods, and we know the pain that these events cause and the time it takes to rebuild and recover. On behalf of the Tasmanians and my government, and on my own behalf, I express my sincere condolences to the entire people of Lebanon, especially those who are suffering directly as a result of the explosions, and I wish them well as they face the twin adversary of the explosion and the pandemic. In recent times, this Parliament has come together to respond and manage the health and economic impacts of the global pandemic, and I'm sure that this House will once again come together in acknowledging the devastation that has occurred in Lebanon. I commend the motion to the House.
Thank you. Honourable Leader of the Opposition.